Strangers describe me as
extremely disloyal.
Did Ryan Reynolds ditch Blake Lively at the premiere of Another Simple Favor to save his own career?
Ryan Reynolds just jumped ship and left Blake Lively to drown. Metaphorically speaking, of course. But honestly, given the spectacular implosion we're witnessing, that metaphor barely scratches the surface. Let's unpack this chaotic saga because Hollywood's golden couple isn't just cracking, they're utterly shattering.
Ryan and Blake both now realize if their careers are to survive, they cannot be involved in the same projects because everything will be heavily scrutinized.
Blake Lively was once Hollywood's undeniable darling, effortlessly glamorous, stylish, adored, and impeccably poised. Married to Ryan Reynolds, the sharp-witted king of comedy, branding genius, and master of social media charm, they appeared to have the perfect marriage, effortlessly defining couple goals for millions worldwide. But beneath their carefully curated facade was something far darker and infinitely messier than anyone anticipated.
Now, insiders are spilling on the real reason why Ryan Reynolds left Blake Lively alone on the red carpet amid the Anna Kendrick beef, and it's all about money. It sounded awful, like to a point like, I'm like, damn.
When Blake appeared solo at the premiere of Another Simple Favor, the spotlight wasn't on her film or her designer dress. It was squarely fixed on the conspicuous absence of Ryan Reynolds.
Why did Ryan Reynolds not show up? I mean, I'm not entirely surprised that he didn't show up, to be perfectly honest, because this was Blake's contractually obligated appearance. She had to be there, guys.
Blake stepped onto the red carpet smiling bravely, but cameras captured every forced grin and awkward pose. The media frenzy erupted, driven by the glaring, unanswered question, where was Ryan?
Blake had to show up for this. I'm sure she was contractually obligated to be there. And both of them, Anna and Blake, and I'm sure neither of them really wanted to be there, to be fair. But why wasn't Ryan there? I'm not surprised he wasn't there. I gotta be honest. He doesn't have to be there at every junket. Now,
let's be real. Reynolds wasn't busy. Known for his savvy humor, his involvement with soccer teams, aviation gin promotions, Mint Mobile ventures, and endless viral posts, Reynolds certainly could have made time.
I think they do need to do their separate appearances if they need to do them. Really, it's about protecting their separate incomes, the source explained. Blake is unsure about the future of her career because of the backlash she has received. She does not want to have a family with no income, and she knows that Ryan's career has so far survived the fallout.
But on this crucial night, supporting his wife seemed suddenly inconvenient. It begs a deeper question. Was Reynolds protecting himself from Blake's mounting controversies? Or was this the beginning of an intentional public separation?
I wasn't that surprised that Ryan wasn't there. It wasn't his movie. It was weird that Ryan was there and it ends with us. If he shows up to every one of our movies that has nothing to do with, I think it would be worse reaction. I do.
Well, it was harder to acquire a drug addiction in Canada.
Have you tried though? I mean, did you really give it a go? I mean, you got to commit to these things.
No, Hollywood was, my experience would obviously differ from a lot of other people's, but I found it to be a struggle. It's difficult, but it's difficult moving to any city. I didn't have a lot of friends or anything like that, so I immediately tried to immerse myself into that improv community in Los Angeles.
So I can't fault him for not showing up. The fact that he's responding is interesting. It shows they're paying attention and they're unnerved. And she knows that Ryan's career has so far survived the fallout. I would agree with that. It has. He's still going to be Deadpool. He's not going to lose gigs. I do think Blake will have a tougher time getting gigs.
The slow burn, signs of trouble. The cracks became painfully visible during their joint appearance at the SNL 50th anniversary special.
Reynolds, how's it going?
Great. Why? What have you heard?
When Amy Poehler humorously asked Ryan, "How's it going?" His nervous response, "Why? What have you heard?" wasn't comedic. It was alarmingly telling. Reynolds sensed trouble ahead, visibly uncomfortable and defensive. The awkward moment immediately fueled rumors and online speculation.
Little did Ryan know that this skit of his would quickly turn into a PR disaster, making people side-eye Blake's entire narrative. Like, if her claims are as serious as she says, why is her own husband out here turning it into a comedy skit? Even Justin's lawyer called it out, saying, "I'm unaware of anybody, frankly, whose wife has been harassed and has made jokes about that type of situation." And he's got a point. If this was truly a traumatic event, would Ryan really be cracking jokes about it on stage?
Ryan built his entire brand on humor, charm, and likability. 3 qualities suddenly threatened by Blake's growing scandals.
They did this publicity stunt last night where they went on SNL and Ryan Reynolds made this silly joke, you know, this really silly joke.
The discomfort seen on SNL reflected a calculated realization. His wife's controversies could derail everything he'd carefully built. In Hollywood, loyalty is admirable.
Clowning the whole situation at the Saturday Night Live 50th anniversary special. Like, girl, this is serious business and your man is out here making jokes. That says a lot.
My relationship with my father, which was very complicated and difficult. My dad was a very, I come from a middle class, kind of blue collar home, and my dad was just of that generation where it's just like, he was Clint Eastwood, less is more. Simple grunts is how he communicated.
Okay, gotcha.
I think people tell themselves stories, and this sort of comes back to your worldview that you just mentioned.
Loyalty is admirable, but pragmatism often trumps it. Blake's high-stakes legal gamble. Blake's most damaging misstep was undoubtedly her lawsuit against Justin Baldoni.
Just when people thought Justin Baldoni was finally the bad guy, Blake Lively proved she will always be the bad guy. Justin Baldoni just released the piece of the puzzle that will destroy Blake Lively, Ryan Reynolds, Colleen Hoover, Taylor Swift, the New York Times.
This person is not an honest broker. I believe her less than ever. I actually disbelieve her fully now.
Initially positioned as a powerful stance against misconduct, Blake intended this move to cement her image as a feminist hero.
She seems like a bully. She was such a high-maintenance diva bully brat.
But things spiraled disastrously out of control when Baldoni aggressively fought back, presenting alleged texts, emails, and behind-the-scenes footage as evidence against her.
Wasn't in the best place. I told them that I was exhausted, that I haven't given myself time to recover or time to heal.
This shift was catastrophic. Blake miscalculated badly, assuming public support would automatically align behind her.
She, time and time again, she accuses him of doing something, which then when you hear the full context, is an absolute nothing burger.
Instead, Hollywood insiders quickly turned skeptical.
A man being fully castrated by a woman who is using toxic feminism to get what she wants, right?
Rather than solidifying her status as a feminist icon, Blake's legal maneuver exposed her to accusations of manipulation and exploitation of the Now Me Too movement for personal gain.
That's so gross and weird and manipulative, even if it's true.
The brand exodus, from darling to disaster high-profile brands, quickly distanced themselves from Blake. L'Oreal, Blake's longtime partner, reportedly paused advertising campaigns featuring her due to internal fears of consumer backlash. Chanel, a brand synonymous with timeless elegance, discreetly removed her images from their platforms.
Not because of a retaliation campaign, but because of her demanding authorship. Go make your own movies, Blake. Go make your own movie. You have the funds, the support, apparently. You have Hollywood friends who have your back, right?
Industry sources revealed private meetings where executives discussed Blake's deteriorating public perception and how her association now posed significant risks to their global image.
Now, I would argue even their solo projects are going to be scrutinized. You guys clearly aren't backing down. You're frustrated with them, and I hear why. I am too. If they really played the power moves that they did and lied.
Hollywood's lifelines are fragile, and Blake's crumbled. Swiftly, highlighting the unforgiving nature of celebrity branding. Ryan Reynolds, the strategic survivor.
I didn't like him. Just gonna be straight with you, I didn't fucking like him. So they're both equally repulsive.
Ryan Reynolds wasn't passively watching his wife's implosion. He was strategically distancing himself.
He's one of those guys, so they are absolute bullies.
Recognizing the potential threat to his business empire, Aviation Gin, Mint Mobile, Maximum Effort Marketing, and blockbuster franchises like Deadpool 3, Ryan carefully orchestrated his withdrawal from the public eye alongside Blake. This wasn't cowardice, it was pure strategic brilliance. His meticulous neutrality protected not just his reputation, but also millions of dollars in brand endorsements and business ventures. Reynolds understood Hollywood's ruthless mechanics. Image is currency, and association with scandal can devastate even the most beloved stars.
I know what Blake's done to Justin is worse, but we've got such tunnel vision on bad, good, bad. It's like,
Blake's desperate attempt at damage control as Reynolds withdrew. Blake's solitary attempts at PR control magnified his absence. Speculations intensified, further damaging her reputation.
Well, Ryan Reynolds on the Enneagram is a psycho. That's what he is. He's just a psycho. His number is psycho.
What the heck, dude? Get your ego in check. Get your ego in check. All you actors, get your egos in check. And yeah, I'm gonna call out actors who have way too big of an ego.
Industry insiders allege Blake pressured Ryan privately for public support, but he steadfastly refused, keenly aware that association would only amplify damage to his career. Even former close friends, notably Taylor Swift, began quietly distancing themselves, underscoring Blake's isolation. Swift's calculated withdrawal signaled that Blake's situation had become so toxic, even Hollywood's closest bonds were transactional.
She really wanted her vision to be included in this, okay?
Justin Baldoni's comeback, a narrative reversal. Justin Baldoni didn't just defend himself. He leveraged transparency and strategic public statements to reclaim his narrative.
Probably getting spray tan on you. It smells good. Well, it's not that. It's my body makeup.
She's completely flirtatious with him. She laughs and says, oh, did you get beard on me? She doesn't say, oh my God, you nuzzled me and said that I smell good. This is what she's done throughout.
Following his countersuit, Baldoni publicly denied the accusations, providing media with texts, emails, and behind-the-scenes footage that portrayed Blake as manipulative.
Objected to this behavior, Mr. Baldoni's response was, I'm not even attracted to you.
Publicly speaking out, he called Blake's claims baseless and damaging, presenting himself as the true victim of manipulation. This approach worked spectacularly, shifting public and industry opinion in his favor.
That wasn't fulfilling for me, that I wanted to be a part of the storytelling, that I wanted to be a part of the narrative, whether that be in the writing, in the costume design, in creating the character.
Previously vilified, Baldoni suddenly found industry doors reopening. His candid media engagements and forthright narrative stance restored his credibility and elevated him to victim status.
I will happily participate in releasing any further leaks that they have, because the truth should be out there. What does she have to fear if she's telling the truth? She wants us to believe this is actionable harassment, what we just witnessed there. You tell me whether that's what that looks like to you.
Blake inadvertently gifted Baldoni a compelling redemption arc. Industry backlash, and the future studios swiftly distanced themselves from Blake, fearful of negative publicity and potential liability. Upcoming projects reconsidered casting decisions, wary of association with someone perceived as controversial.
So, in my opinion, Justin was wrong, and the power was with Blake.
Sources hinted at potential roles rescinded and scripts withdrawn. Ryan Reynolds, meanwhile, meticulously recalibrated his professional future, ensuring zero exposure to Blake's reputational fallout. Privately, Reynolds is reportedly intensifying his vetting process for future projects, selecting collaborations with calculated precision to safeguard his pristine image.
Blake got everything she wanted. On that set, she got everything she wanted. They gave every demand. And then she still kept getting more and more and more and more and more and more. So who had the power on that set? Justin, her boss, or Blake Lively, the A-star talent who they needed to finish the movie?
Key questions remain. The situation raises critical questions. Did Ryan truly abandon Blake, or is this merely strategic self-preservation? Was Blake's lawsuit a genuine quest for justice or a calculated PR move? Will brands and studios fully sever ties with Blake? Can Blake stage a career comeback, or is she irreversibly damaged? Will Reynolds ever publicly stand by Blake again, or is their Hollywood union effectively over?
If they really played the power moves that they did and lied, shame on them, of course.
Final reflections. Hollywood's brutal reality. Ultimately, this saga isn't merely about Blake Lively or Ryan Reynolds. It reveals Hollywood's brutal reality. Reputations are fragile, alliances transactional, and public perceptions ruthlessly unforgiving. Blake's downfall highlights how quickly fame turns to infamy when missteps are magnified by media scrutiny and strategic errors. Ryan's survival underscores Hollywood's pragmatism, demonstrating that self-preservation and strategic distancing are often vital for long-term success.
I'm just shocked at how many lies were told, okay?
Blake faces a daunting battle for redemption. Her story serves as a stark cautionary tale about ambition, miscalculations, and the relentless public gaze. Stay tuned, because in Hollywood, the drama never truly ends.